guys, welcome to Healthy Life Designing. Today we are talking to a local business owner in Lancaster, Ohio, who has just recently opened a really great wellness center. Sanel Bach is going to be here when we come back after the short break.
Dagger Law has been part of the Lancaster community for more than 110 years. This is where we live and work. You'll see us at festivals, sporting events, and all around town. We consider our clients as friends, and we walk alongside you through challenging times. Whether you're a growing business, a changing family, facing litigation, planning your future, or dealing with land issues, we're right here. We are local. We are trusted. We are experienced. Dagger Law.
Hey guys, we are back talking to the lovely Sanel. Thank you so much for being here with your lovely background.
You're welcome. It's delightful to be here with you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So you've got a ton of history. You have over 20 years of experience in the health and fitness industry. But I mean, some of the things that stand out, learning about you is you got to be on the Oprah show at one point. You competed for Mrs. Ohio in 2005. You were awarded a title for Mrs. Fitness of Ohio in 2005. And then since then, it just seems like you just keep trucking along and adding tons of certifications and knowledge. And so now it's like, I would just love to hear about it. How did it get started, and your journey in these accomplishments?
Thank you. Well, like you said, I think it has been a journey, and it's been so wonderful how life just unfolds. And I've been really fortunate and blessed that way. To be on the Oprah show, that was really cool. It was just something that happened. Interesting enough, I wrote into the show and I was in the audience. So I got picked to come onto the show in the audience. And then from there, I was invited back to be on the show. So it was really interesting and just a great experience. And actually I have a picture with her too. So that was pretty cool. But I think even more so, it encouraged and inspired me. I've always been very passionate about women's health and wellness. And my background is in sports medicine. I have an undergraduate degree in sports medicine and then a graduate degree in exercise physiology. And I've pursued a couple different PhDs. I'm finishing my PhD in health sciences now. But when I was on the show, I was very passionate about promoting health and wellness in our communities, and particularly with women. And so being on the show really inspired me. I was on the show with about 8 other women. And just coming together in that light really inspired me to continue to want to educate women about, how do we live our best life? How do we practice self-care? How do we continue to be the best that we can so that we can give to our family, our community, our friends, and, just kind of, again, live that best life. So it's been a journey. And so now what kind of brought me to this area, the Lancaster area, is I went through a divorce and then remarried, and my husband is from Bremen. And so now I reside in Bremen, and I opened a small clinical practice in Lancaster. So
right, you did, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's been a great journey, and I've had some teaching experience in there as a professor. Started out at University of Mount Union. It's a small liberal arts institution in Alliance, Ohio. And then more recently, teaching as an adjunct faculty at Ohio University. And then also teaching as a teaching assistant through Rocky Mountain University, teaching some doctoral level courses. So it's been a journey, and I really enjoyed all of it. And I've been just, again, blessed to be able to share that, because I really feel like that's why we're here. Part of our divine purpose is to be of service and to be a blessing to each other, to both give and to receive. And so I feel like for me, I've done both. I've been able to give of my talents, my expertise, my knowledge, but I've received just as much, if not more, as part of my growth, and it's part of my ability to be able to just kind of give back again. So it's been
Right.
great.
And you mentioned courses, and that's something that you're actually you just launched a brand new course. Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for asking. So, part of my dissertation work, or part of my PhD studies, my dissertation topic is looking at the impact of mindfulness meditation and how that can help us to reduce stress, or also increase our ability to be compassionate and caring toward others. And I really want to look at that in the nursing population. And so with that, I created a course really targeted toward healthcare professionals, but it's applicable for anyone. But the course is mindfulness meditation and ethical care as healthcare practitioners. So, how does mindfulness help us to be not only better healthcare providers by reducing our level of stress, but
Mhm.
also it opens up a space for self compassion and self kindness. And there's research that indicates by being able to demonstrate more self compassion, then we're able to be more compassionate. It's kind of one of those philosophies you can't give what you don't have.
Right.
So, yeah, so it's a really interesting course. It's open to the public. It's
Okay.
offered through Rocky Mountain University, and you can just go online and Google Rocky Mountain University. It's a continuing education course. Again, it's geared toward healthcare professionals, but it's open to the public. And I think it's just a great course to be able to be introduced to this topic of mindfulness. So,
Right.
yeah.
So how long is it? Is it a few hour class? Is it a whole day?
It's just 2 hours.
Okay.
It's designed to be 2 hours online, and everything is online. And I'm seeking credits for some licensed professionals, so it's a 2 credit course. So for individuals who may need it for continuing education credits. So
Hmm.
we're looking at that's pending right now, but we're seeking to get that qualification so that it can be a continuing education course also.
That is awesome. I might even be able to have the time to do something
Yeah.
like that. Um,
Yes,
Another
yes,
thing,
it's
and
a great.
congratulations, because that is so exciting.
Thanks so much. Yeah, it was the university really helped me a lot in being able to put it in a format and a platform so that it was user friendly. And so that was, the content was me, but the technology, that was really awesome. They were great to work with. So, yeah.
And another thing that you do that you've been doing most recently is muscle activation therapy. And
Yes.
I know how beneficial it is, but can you just talk us through it?
Sure, absolutely. So, muscle activation is a relatively new technique. It's only about 25 years old.
Mhm.
The founder, Greg Roskopf, the headquarters is out in Denver, Colorado. And the whole impetus for muscle activation was that there's a skeletal component, there's a nervous system, there's all of these different systems of the body, but they all work together. And if there are muscle imbalances, then that tends to be problematic for the skeletal system. So you may
Right.
have more joint problems. It can also be problematic for the nervous system. So you may have more radiating pain. And so if we can balance and stabilize the muscles, then we can actually impact and increase kind of the word I'm going to use is synergist, the ability of the body to work together in tandem. So we look at what muscles are shut down and what muscles are activated and working properly. And a lot of times individuals, their muscles begin to shut down. Usually it's not all at one time unless it's something traumatic like an injury.
Yes.
Usually things start to decline gradually. And
Mhm.
so this technique says, where are those declines happening exactly? And not just generally, but we tease out each muscle one at a time and we actually test that muscle to see how efficient it's working. And if we can catch that, it really does enhance our overall well being. So instead of waiting till you're in pain, we can catch it early. And if you are in pain, this is a way to kind of get out of that pain a lot quicker by helping to stabilize all of the muscles around that joint or that muscle system or muscle group. So yeah, muscle activation is it's a specialized technique used to help stabilize the body, and thereby with that stability, it helps to reduce pain, increase flexibility. So you just feel better.
Yes. And I mean, from a personal standpoint, I recently injured my back. We won't say how because it's too silly and ridiculous, but I ended up finding out that, I had a rib out, but I also have an extremely tight psoas muscle, which, a lot of people don't realize it goes, into your hip area, but then it also attaches up into your spine. So it's a very crucial muscle to have working efficiently because it's literally holding my body together.
Yes.
Do you see, what muscle do you see to be the most that's, I guess, needing help?
Well, that's really interesting. Now, I'm going to speak to your psoas muscle since, and this is generally speaking, but I'm glad you brought out a muscle that was injured or impacted by some type of trauma.
Yes.
And when I say trauma, it could be physical trauma, like there's an injury, but it could also be a chemical trauma, like an emotional trauma. So there's a lot of extra stress going on. It could be also an illness. So there's a trauma to the immune system. A lot of us may be recovering from COVID, or they know someone who has COVID, or so there could be some immune compromisation there as well. So when the body experiences trauma like that, typically, say your psoas actually is the strongest muscle that you have in your body. Maybe with the type of work that you do, as a fitness and wellness person yourself, that's usually that core muscle is something that's really strong. And so what happens is that muscle actually may be compensating for a lot of other muscles that may be shut down. And so what muscle activation says is, typically in traditional medicine, my background's in sports medicine. I was very competent as a director of a rehab facility back in the day. And so I worked in athletic training and sports medicine for a very long time, worked with another private practice, a physical therapy group for about 7 years until I just recently went out on my own in a small practice. So before I was introduced to muscle activation, we typically go to that site that's injured. Mm-hmm. Whereas muscle activation says, okay, we want to be concerned with that site, but we also want to look at everything else around that site, above and below that joint or area. And so what I would want to test on you, Darian, is what's going on in your thorax? What's going on in your upper back? What's going on in your shoulder and neck? What's going on in your hips? So we want to get the full picture, because your psoas, even though it's the injured or the muscle that's screaming at us, there may actually be muscles that are shut down that are causing that psoas to have to work super hard. And it's picking up the slack. It's saying, you know what, I'm going to work for you because I know how. Right. But these other muscles are like, I'll just hang out. And those are the muscles that we might say are shut down, and we want to activate them. So now your whole core, your whole being, upper body and lower body, everything's working in tandem like a well-oiled machine. And that's what muscle activation gives us. It's very common, and it was very advantageous for $1 million athletes. That's where it started. That was the root of muscle activation. But now we've been able to bring it to the layperson, my Parkinson clients, my diabetic clients, my heart disease clients, as well as my fit and well clients like yourself. Everybody can benefit from finding out what's working properly, what's not working so well, and how can we get everything working together. So that's what muscle activation does for us.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for all of that. And I think it's a great time to take a quick break. I surely have more questions for you, but we are going to take a quick break, and we will be back with more Sanel Bach talking health and fitness, all great things. So please stick around.
The Frame Shop in Lancaster has been family owned and operated since 1975, offering a lifetime guarantee on materials and workmanship. All framing is done in our workshop with the utmost attention to detail. You'll have a one-of-a-kind product custom made just for you. We can frame many types of items. We also offer frame and photo restoration and repair along with ready-made frames. The Frame Shop, where your business and loyalty are very important to us.
Welcome to the Dream Machine.
Like to be part of Green Machine, keep me busy, and it's also important that we do it together as a group, and we plow and plant, and we have lots of produce. We have tomatoes like one here, and gourds, cucumbers, squash, kohlrabi, beets, microgreens. We also have flower arrangement, and we also sell bags, those tote bags out of animal food bags, and we sell them out in the market, farmers market.
It's a special place that keeps people healthy by eating a couple fruits and vegetables. I always show people, first time they pick raspberries and green beans, I show them how to do it like they do it wrong. Picking raspberries and green beans is simple, easy for me. When entering some things in the field like pumpkins, the gourds were growing, and everyone likes them. Tasty.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference.
We were retiring from Tucson, Arizona, and we made a retirement trip out around Ohio, having decided that's where we wanted to be. And we came across this town called Lancaster, and we fell in love with the downtown area, where the fountain is, and the memorials, and the flags, and all this stuff. And I looked around and I said, there's our bank right there.
There's something to be said about a community bank in your hometown.
Right. If you live in the community, you should do business in the community as much as possible. So it makes sense to bank with the community bank where you live.
Fairfield Federal is the bank to be at. If you live in this town, or any town actually, you want to bank at a local home bank. And the employees are happy here, they're conversant, customer service is through the roof. There's nothing more you could ask for.
Personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey guys, we are back. This is Healthy Life Designing. We have been talking to the wonderful Sanel Bach, who has a new wellness center here in Lancaster. And oh my goodness, she can help so many people with so many different things. And something that comes to my mind is, I know you help a lot of special populations, diabetics, people with fibromyalgia, and so on. But fibromyalgia is something that really stands out for me, and I'm really interested to know, how are you able to help those clients or patients?
Sure. So it's really interesting with things like systemic things like fibromyalgia, or even autoimmune conditions like lupus, or conditions like Parkinson's or Alzheimer's. So for my Alzheimer's or clients that I've worked with, usually their family member is there, and it's at a level where they're still able to engage in, commands or cueing that I'm asking them to contract or relax. But for a lot of my special population clients, it's a doorway to just things they didn't even think were possible. For example, one of my fibromyalgia clients I just had not too long ago, she came in, she had a cane, and she wasn't sure that she was going to be able to walk without her cane. And it didn't happen overnight, but we were able to introduce, I also use a pain management modality, and it's all non-invasive. And we did the muscle activation. And we also introduced an exercise prescription. And so my background in exercise physiology, as my master's degree, I really believe, like the American College of Sports Medicine says, that exercise is medicine. Just like our physicians will write a prescription for a pharmaceutical, exercise is medicine. And so by looking at each individual, we can actually look at their particular condition, can treat not only the muscles that are shut down, so treat the musculoskeletal system. We can actually treat and manage their pain, and then also design something that's specific for their body. I mean, there's a lot of different general protocols, that kind of, recipes, if you will, that we can use for a person. But with both the clinical as well as the academic, as well as just the personal fitness background, bringing all of those things together allowed me to be able to be very impactful for that individual. Not to mention the mindfulness and the spiritual aspect of that, because I feel like, when I treat someone, I really want to look at their mind, body, and spirit. So I provide the intellectual knowledge. I'm able to treat their body because of my academic and, anatomy, physiology, muscle activation knowledge, but the spiritual component from a standpoint of how really are you doing? Are you stressed? How are we managing that? Again, what's going on in your life right now that may be contributing to some of these different things. So back to the fibromyalgia clients that I've treated, we really look at the full picture. We start with the muscle activation. It's a very gentle technique on the table. And I've treated both fibromyalgia clients as well as professional athletes. So very different in their strength levels.
Right.
So the technique is amenable to each individual. So whoever's laying on the table, we're able to treat their specific muscles based off what their body is showing us. And so that's the really beautiful part of muscle activation, is that your body is my guide. So, yeah.
Right.
Each person's body is different. Each person is different.
Absolutely. Well, and you don't know what other people are eating and how often they're exercising, or if they're taking a ton of prescription drugs that could be countering certain things. And, that's where you could come in to sit and go through and evaluate what's working based on what you're seeing within the client as an individual, not just a mass.
Right. Yeah, it's so very interesting. I mean, and that's what I evaluate. So the first step with muscle activation is an evaluation. And the evaluation is usually just 30 minutes. And you come in and I look at some range of motion. So right away, even as we're on camera, I noticed that when you turn one direction, it's a little bit more smooth. When you turn the other direction, it's a little guarded. So you guard a little bit when you're turning one direction. So right away, I want to say, again, you already talked a little bit about the trauma that you've experienced, but there's things that before a person even opens their mouth, I usually can kind of pick up some of the body mechanics. And that kind of freaks some people out. They'll say, how did you know my shoulder was bothering me? Well, your body's my guide, right? So it speaks volumes.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah.
And another thing that speaks volumes, so we have just a few minutes left, is I want to mention your book real quick. If you could talk about that real quick. We've got about 2 or 3 minutes left to kind of wrap it up here.
Sure. The book is very near and dear to my heart. It goes through a very personal experience. The title is Living with Double D's, Surviving Depression and Divorce. And there's a cute little story that goes along with it that has to do with the bra. I'll just put it that way because it's really funny. And I talk about it in the book. But it really talks about, how do we get through some very tough obstacles, very tough times. I think it's very fitting even during COVID, I was actually promoting the book because at the end of the day, it can be applicable to all of us when we're going through tough times. I talk about 10 different things that we can do to kind of get through those really tough times in our life. So my hope is that it'll be continue to be inspiring for those who read it. So quick read. It's less than 30 pages, so it's a quick read.
Which is
Yeah.
fabulous. So anybody can't say that you don't have time to read it, because 30 pages, I mean, I can go through a book in 3 hours, just because I get excited. And I've been so excited to finally get to talk to you. You were so inspiring, and I just really appreciate you and everything that you're doing for the community and all that you're bringing. If there's how can people find you if they're looking for any information or your book?
Sure, they can go to my website, ccwellnessinc.com. That's CC in the word wellness, WELLNESS, Inc., INC.com. Or they can email me at sanelbach@yahoo.com.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sanel. I've loved
My pleasure.
talking to
Thanks.
you.
Thank you.
And
Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure.
hopefully I will get in to see you, and maybe we can connect again soon and talk about more things, health and wellness. You guys check her out, Sanel Bach. You guys won't regret it. And that is all that we have time for today, guys. Stay healthy, smile a little bit more, and we will see you soon. Thanks for watching.